All right, we need to get a plan.
Oh, we're
Oh, the
live. All right.
decor. Cool.
I think we're live. We'll see. We're live now. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Unleashed. What? Now we're live? We're live now. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode
Hi.
of Marketing Unleashed. This is where we talk all things marketing, business, social media in the dog grooming industry. And today we have Eddie
Hey,
Quinonez. Please spell your name because I'm
Quinonez.
not.
Quinonez. You know, it has that little
Quinonez. I'm
not
like, I'm
the
going to wait.
nine over the end, but
Okay. Quinonez.
yeah, of
I'm
course
going to
not.
butcher it. I'm sorry. No Hispanic blood in me at all for that. But this isn't your first time on with us. We actually had you here about a year ago, a little over a
Yeah.
year ago. I actually know that because I rewatched the episode to prepare a bit for you coming back on.
Cool.
And yeah, so it's been about a year. You were here with Priscilla and you came to
Yep.
talk to Tone for his Sheer Passion podcast, which he hasn't done
Yeah.
in a while. We need to poke him a bit and see if he'll do another one of those. But yeah, you guys
It gets
came
hard.
and you
It gets
talked a
hard to
lot of
do all that
business.
stuff. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a lot of work, content creation, and we'll definitely get there and talk a little bit about that. I don't want to duplicate too much of the stuff that you talked with
Hmm.
Tone about, and I highly recommend if anybody missed that episode with him, go back and watch it. It's a great episode. You and Priscilla talk all about being a couple in the industry and starting your business, and lots about your employees and content creation there as well. So
Yeah.
I specifically have some questions for you that we're going to go through and try to not touch too much on what you've already talked about with him.
Cool.
But I do want to get, just a quick rundown so
Yeah.
people can get to know you a little bit about how you got into the industry.
Okay. Well, the good thing is we all have short attention spans. That no matter what, if we did something a year ago, it's pretty much almost we need a refresher. We all forgot, you know.
Absolutely.
So that's always a good thing about content. Well, I always tell everybody is like Priscilla was the one who started into dog grooming. Like the story always starts with her. You know, we have three kids, and she was at the point where she needed to do something. And just like everybody, vet tech was probably something that was out of the picture, and she went into dog grooming. And little by little, I started to notice, how good she was. I started to notice how much money she was making, and I was like, okay, we could do something here. I started seeing her checks. I was like, all right, if you made this much, it means that your boss made this much. Like, all right, there's something going on here. Let's look more into it. Then we fast forward, about a year and a half or so, and we opened our first location. And little by little, I feel like I started to, have more passion for the grooming industry. I've always loved pets, but I started, to fall in love more with the business itself. And at some point, I pretty much just kind of came on here full time. And little by little, he started seeing more and more of me. Sometimes Priscilla would say I kind of hijacked the business, from her. Um, but I'm just, I've always liked to do social media. I've always liked to do, create content. I've always thought myself as someone who would go into marketing. So if I was like, all right, if I
Mm-hmm.
ever go to college, I wanted to do marketing. And here I am doing marketing. Just, I never knew I was going to be in this industry or would end up here. But
Mm-hmm.
we're here now, and I
Same.
think yeah, I think just there's so much more to do here still left. Priscilla always says like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
should we do something else?" I'm like, "No, I think there's still a lot left in grooming that we're just kind of scratching the surface."
Yeah, for sure. So just to go back a little bit, you guys opened up a new shop. She was already working as a groomer, and you guys
Yes.
decided let's open up our own shop. And can
Yes.
you just break down a little bit of the process of
Okay.
you opening up a shop, just for like somebody that's interested in opening up their own shop? Like, did
Yeah.
you guys get a loan? Did you write a business plan? When did you find the location in this whole
Yeah.
process? Anything you can really,
Okay.
let us know.
Well, I think probably the hardest part is like maybe securing a location. I think it gets a little bit tricky with securing a location. And I said it before, I don't really care that, we filled out the application. I had to kind of, play with some numbers, kind of do some stuff. The my leasing agent was pretty helpful. We're like, okay, we might need to change the wording here and there, and we're able to qualify for the first store. It's just because we were in a brand new building, so this one was kind of a little
Mm-hmm.
bit tough to get into. But I also had a job before this. People know, like I used to do construction, did electrical work, so I already had a source of income. We didn't take out any loans necessarily. I'm more of a person who will just kind of do things on the go. So I knew I could build, so it didn't matter. I just needed to have the money for the space. So I paid my deposit, paid my first month, and then it was up to me to kind of start building or get things little by little. I think most of the places usually give you, a certain amount of time. I think we usually get about 6 months to kind of build out. So
Yeah.
month one, maybe I bought the tub. Maybe month two, maybe I bought some tools. Month three, I bought the tables, and little by little, I was just kind of self-funding till we opened our doors.
Okay, so you didn't like put a deadline on yourself, really. She had a job, so you were just like, let's
Yeah,
get this built, and however long it takes, it's going to take. You had a 6 month kind of padding for the lease.
yeah,
So that's good to know for people that are
yeah,
looking into places. Like, definitely ask for that if they're not going to give it to you.
yeah.
And then you had some struggles. That if you want to talk about that, I know that was something that you brought up with Tone. That was kind of something, like maybe warnings for people of things that went wrong in the process.
Yeah. I don't remember which struggles they were, but I think
It was
it
right before
was we.
opening.
Yeah, so right before opening, the thing is that we were in a brand new building. So it's a brand new like apartment complex on top and retail on the bottom. And we had a set date to open, and when we told my landlord, I was like, "Hey, we're ready to open." They're like, "Okay, well, just so you guys know, your sewer line isn't connected." So that delayed it. And then there was issues with the water. So it was the water and the sewer that weren't even connected into our unit. So they had to dig up the concrete, they had to connect our sewer line, and then we could start. So
Oh man.
it, there's a lot of things in it that maybe groomers won't realize that construction at any point can go bad.
Yeah.
You can get into a new shop and something is bad with the plumbing, something is bad with the electrical. I've been telling everybody, anybody who asks me for advice, I tell them, look for something that's already an existing salon, whether it be a grooming salon, whether it's a men's salon or a women's salon, anything that has water, that's what you want
Hmm.
to go for. Building from scratch where there's just four walls and nothing there, I think that's kind of the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, and aside from water, I hear electrical is like one of the biggest things because of, your
Yeah.
dryers and all the things that you have to plug in. They're sucking a lot of energy. You need to make sure that all your
Yeah.
electricals on point, or think breakers will go, and everything will just be, turning off on you all the time. So yeah, that's definitely a great tip for new business owners looking to get a salon, is finding one that already exists that has those things. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So before you even opened, you were promoting your shop. Talk a little bit about that, about your process of starting the Instagram for Paws at Maine, and building that brand through social media before you even opened the shop.
Yeah, so I've always said that I've always been like interested in marketing for some whatever reason. It's always called my name, and I had a little bit of history like in like the fitness world and seeing all these people who were popular on Instagram, and it was kind of like the time where all right, now you have 1 million followers, now you're making tons of money. So I started kind of still doing my own little research of what all that kind of entailed. So when we were ready to start our opening our business, I set up the Instagram. I set up, started making little posts, opening soon. I started running little ads to kind of get that traction going. So I think 6 months prior, before our opening date, we had videos. I had whatever footage I could get from Priscilla from her job. I would just fix it. Like, all right, let's, give me whatever pictures before and after. And even then, it was just a quick before and after, just made into a video. Or
Mm-hmm.
I think she was sometimes grooming at home or our own dog. So just things like that. Anything I could kind of get my hands on, I would start posting just to kind of create that interest. And we had people calling and calling before we even opened our doors. So we really started with zero customers. She didn't bring any customers from her previous location. She didn't like have a clientele list. It was literally starting from zero in a different city from where she worked.
Okay. And you mentioned, obviously some of her work you posted so people could see, the
Yes.
quality at least that they could
Yeah.
expect from it. Did you post anything about the process of you guys building out? Did you create any content from that, or was it mostly just like, hey, we're opening, and, it was more like advertisement style looking?
There was could have been a little bit of that on the stories, but one of the things that we did for our business pods at Maine, it was more like advertising. I tell everybody like usually when we first started creating content or social media, it was all more like commercials. For some reason, that was all I would like think of. Like, all right, well, let's how do we make a commercial ad, for the shop? So everything that we made was a commercial style type of video that I could
Mm-hmm.
promote. Because I knew that the attention I was trying to get was just trying to really showcase what we were about and what we were doing. So by the time I wanted the customers through our doors, they might not necessarily care about the whole building process, but they wanted to kind of see what we had ready for them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love seeing when there's a build out. I think that's really good
Yeah,
content. Like obviously I think what you did is super important as far as running ads goes. Like
yeah,
but for somebody who doesn't even have the ability to create that kind of content where luckily she was at a shop so she was still grooming, and like you said, even in the house you would get some good shots, and
yeah,
if that's what you got to do, then try to get as good a shots as you can to promote your work beforehand. But if you don't have that, then some backup content that you could post to start promoting your shop would be that whole process of building
yeah,
out like, hey, this is what we're doing, giving them an idea, we're going to be opening soon, and make sure you get on our books and keep updating them about it so that they can see the progress. Is just
yeah,
a good way to get some content when you don't have that opportunity to get the
yeah.
the shots of the dogs and stuff.
And even then, we were still like in the process of creating our logo and getting that thing, all that going. So as soon as the logo was ready, then I
Mm-hmm.
started posting, even stock footages just with the logo and maybe some reminders, opening soon or we're almost there,
Yes,
or just
little
jumping on the stories
teasers.
here and there. Yeah, little teasers. That's pretty much what it was. A lot of little teasers that kind of went into it. Again, just you capture someone's interest, but then you don't want to lose it. So how do you
Mm-hmm.
continue it? So cool, I ran an ad, spent all this money running an ad and I got your interest. Now it's time to keep it. And you keep it by continuing that engagement and continuing those posts.
Yeah, for sure. I love that idea of just like simple. It doesn't have to be anything crazy,
Yeah.
right? Just a simple graphic with some text on it, letting them know, keeping them
Yeah.
updated. Question for you: did you collect emails in the process, or was this mainly you were just running the ads and social media?
I did not. I think even all the emails and all the collecting, I still haven't really fully maximized on that till this year.
Yeah.
So we have now that we have all like our database of customers, I honestly I never really used it until now. And so recently this year I started an email campaign that will automatically send an email, oh hey, we miss you every month and a half to have and during like the reports that I get back, it says that we're doing really good with like a
That's
70%
great.
open rate and
Oh,
people
that's
coming back.
awesome.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
a
so
really good open
now,
rate. Anything
yeah,
over like 20% is amazing.
yeah. So now I'm like, okay, I need to really stick to this. And now I've been collecting their phone numbers and opting them into text messages. So that's
Nice.
I'm gonna start doing more of that too.
Yeah, the
But in the
texts are
beginning, I
the
didn't really
texts are
connect them.
better.
Yeah, but with our privacy
So
laws, we got to get their permission now.
yeah, there obviously you can't just be texting people
Yeah,
without their permission.
yeah,
Even emails are actually really strict now too.
yeah.
As far as like don't buy lists from people or obviously steal
Uh-huh.
lists from people. You don't want to do
Yeah,
that because if they hit spam enough times, you can get blacklisted and you're done. You're not going to be able to get into anyone's inbox.
yeah,
But as far as like if you were getting enough clientele through your social media and ads and you had a wait list, that's obviously not going to be super important to you at the time.
yeah,
But if there's somebody that's opening up their shop and they really want to update people as much as possible through email, you could say, hey, make sure you're signing up for our email list to get notified when we
yeah,
do open, and you'll be able to email them that way. So that's a good way. If you're having a hard time filling that wait list,
yeah.
then email is definitely a good way to go. Now
Well,
you,
one thing real quick about
mhm,
those wait lists too
yeah,
is we never really had a wait list because I'm gonna say that I know people say, oh, I have this big wait list. For me, it was more, okay, how do I find a way to not have a wait list? If for some whatever reason I have a wait list, it means that I should be hiring someone or I should be doing something extra. So I never want to have a wait list. I want to service those customers and figure out how.
yeah, that's definitely a great way to look at it.
Yeah,
I think you have that whole concept of hiring people and having a
Yeah.
team, and you have 2 locations and 2 mobiles, and so yeah, you definitely have built out a team to service whatever customers you had coming your way. And that's not everybody's thing, right? Like
Yeah.
some people just would rather work by themselves and not have to deal
Yeah.
with anyone else. Maybe they're not the type of person that can lead a team, and they're really just solo groomers. So that's definitely something you have to think about, is how you want to run your business. Do you want to have
True.
employees at some point in time? Because not everybody does, and that's
Yeah.
okay too. You
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
true.
to.
Yeah.
But
They're
having
hard.
employees is a whole nother
Yeah.
ball game, right? Like you
Yeah.
have people to
Yeah.
manage.
Yeah,
Speaking of
exactly.
that, you did at some point have to hire someone. Like you said, you didn't have that wait list. When did that happen for you? When did you know that you needed to hire someone and that you actually could afford to hire them?
Um, so I'm gonna say even starting off with the Ford, I think everybody's gonna think at some point that really can't afford them. But like they say, like you can't afford not to have them. I think when we're getting busy at some point, it's not that I had maybe an overwhelming amount of work. It was more of, okay, we need to be able to properly use our time. So we need to hire someone to separate those responsibilities. And it's always been a tough choice. It was like, dude, Priscilla's always like, can we afford to hire someone? It doesn't matter if we can afford them or not. Like we're gonna figure that afterwards. But like there just gets a point where you really need a if you're at the point where like yes you have the wait list or you have an overwhelming amount of let's say requests and yes you're ready to hire. But even if you don't feel you're there yet, there's a point where you just have to hire someone and kind of make that investment to grow your business.
Yeah. Got to take the leap.
Yeah.
Same kind of leap that you had to take to actually start the business, I guess. You just have to, it's just all the risks.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Just go
that's the
for it.
biggest thing about being a business owner is being okay with taking the risk.
Yeah.
You just have to take the risk.
Yep. And you jump and learn to fly on the way down, right? Is that what they say?
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
So
We'll build a
how are
parachute on the way down.
yeah, exactly. Just in the air. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So you were finding your clients coming, you were running ads, which is,
Hmm.
obviously super important for people that, don't know how to find new clients. That's
Hmm.
that's a major way to find new clients is by running ads. And you were getting them through social media. You said a bit you were finding social media was bringing in some people for you.
Yeah.
And now that you've already been open, you have a second location and some mobiles, how do you find you are getting clients the most? Do you have a way of tracking that? Do you know where they're coming from or where you feel they're coming from?
I see now we built a pretty like strong recognition in the communities that we're at, where I feel like we'll get mentioned in Facebook community pages, referrals. I might not spend a lot of money on advertising these days, but when I feel a dip in work, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start running some ads. So I feel like we still always have a constant stream of new customers just
Mhm.
because of the brand that we built.
So with those customers, you obviously get reviews,
Mhm.
right? Tell me how you handle bad reviews from these customers. You're out in the social media, maybe you get them on your comments, Yelp, Google reviews. How are you handling that as far as like an outward facing company and like, you know, having a brand that you're
Mhm.
recognizable and you want to have a certain face for the, for the internet. What are you doing when you
Yeah.
get them? Are you responding to them?
Sometimes I feel like I've been responding a little bit less and less, but I feel like sometimes there's some reviews that don't deserve a response because you know that these customers are just upset, and no matter what you say, they're not gonna listen. And there's some reviews that deserve a response because maybe what they're saying is lies, and we don't want the lies out there. So it doesn't matter if we change their mind or not, but publicly stating, our side, is beneficial also.
Hmm.
So we'll say, well, like 50-50. Now it's about 50-50. If I see someone complain, like, oh, you didn't give my haircut, a puppy to my 3 month, haircut to my 3 month old puppy, I'm like, whatever. I'm not gonna fight with them. But if I really feel like it and I got time, like even sometimes, I'll troll the people back on my comments on Instagram. Uh, people like, oh my gosh, you got time to respond? Like, yeah, I got time. Don't worry. We can comment it out of here. I was like, you don't understand that you're just bringing more and more attention to the post. So
Yeah, yeah, the
I
negativity
don't take them
fuels the
seriously. Yeah,
it's horrible that negativity really fuels engagement like that.
yeah,
And, just a note for anybody out there, if you're scrolling and there's something that you don't like, just keep scrolling, because the longer you view it and if you leave a comment on it, all it's going to do is make it go more viral
exactly.
and reach more people. So yeah, it's just funny that people spend so much of their energy on writing negativity on comments.
I don't know how they do. I could never see myself writing a response on something just because I don't like it. I just go and keep swiping to the next thing.
Yeah,
But one
just
one
just keep
one
it
last thing I
moving.
want to say, like even about the reviews too, we all have to realize that like everything is a sale. So all those sales techniques that people learn is just a way of communication towards, even customers. So you're selling them on why, maybe you're right, with their negative review. So it's all a sell. You got to learn like these sales techniques will help you talk
Absolutely.
to your customers better.
Yeah, for sure. So you're getting employees, you have this team. How are you finding them? Like when you first started, you needed to find an employee. Now you have a full team. I don't know if it's any different now than when you were like finding your first couple employees, how you went about it. Did you learn any lessons? Where are you posting, your job post,
Mhm.
anything around hiring employees? I'd love to know how
Okay.
you guys handle that.
I think maybe at first it was a little bit harder to find employees. I think and the only luck we ever had was Craigslist. Indeed doesn't work, and all those websites don't work. There's no groomers on Indeed filling out their resumes. So Craigslist, we probably found most of our beginning groomers on Craigslist. Now we're at the point where it's easier. Again, like they see, so we're opening up our third salon. We already have one employee ready to go for that one. We could have more if we wanted to, but we're just not. We need to see how it's going to go first. I always tell everybody, it's like you need, and it all goes back to social media. If I didn't have this presence, or not even my presence, but the presence of the salon, because when
Mhm.
we get groomers coming to us and asking for work, they'll say, "Hey, I actually Googled all the salons in your area. In the area, I saw yours was the nicest. Yours had the best reviews. Yours has the most, active social media. So I came to you." So you want to be someone wants to work for, and this stuff like this is, my resume. My social media is my resume of the person I am, and it could attract people to me. Same thing for our business. The way our salons look. No one wants to go work for a salon that's falling apart. No one wants to work for a salon that has, two-star reviews all over the place. Or the same thing. You have to be someone people want to work for.
Absolutely. That's a big point to make there, is
Yeah.
that you're putting out content for originally for potential customers, and you still do. You have a
Yeah.
Posit main account, and that's all geared
Uh-huh.
towards
Hmm.
clients and reaching pet parents.
Yeah.
And then you have your own personal one that's a little bit different, and
Yeah.
each of your groomers have their own things going on with
Exactly.
content, and being able to collab with the main account like that is great. So showing that that's not only just for pet parents, but for potential groomers too, for
Yeah.
potential employees that you'll have. You're
Yeah.
making the content for them as well. So that's a good point to make. Um, are you posting job listings on like on your page too when you're hiring, or is it like you said? Are you
Um,
still using Craigslist? I'm kind of shocked that.
No, I don't even know how Craigslist works anymore. I don't know if it's as good as it used to be. I think it's already going downhill.
Yeah.
Um, no, I mean, so this time I actually haven't really posted much. Priscilla made a post on her page, saying that we're looking for groomers, and of course she
Hmm.
got some DMs right away. I didn't post it this time just because I just been a little bit busy, but I'm sure we've turned down people. We'll turn down people left and right. Like my offices will call me, "Hey, someone just called to get to ask for a job." Like, well, I'll always ask. I was like, I don't want their resume. I want to see what their Instagram looks like. Give me some information about them. So, and I'll just take their information. I might not hire everybody, but every once in a while, I'll still interview people. And if it's someone I feel like it's really worth hiring, I'll make the effort to move things around and give them a job. So if I really like you, like I'll hire you. Like, and they'll come in, they'll ask me for work. I'll go through their Instagrams, like, oh, okay, this person looks like they're a good groomer. Let me see what they're about. Have them come in. I talk to them, see what they're about. And like I said, if I really like them, I'll find them a job.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice of you. But really great point as far as an employer goes. You know,
Mhm.
you are out there looking at people's Instagrams as their resume,
Yeah.
basically. That's what you want to
Yeah.
see. Obviously, I think some of their history is important as far as like maybe where they learned or who
Yeah.
they learned from or where they, previously worked. But if you are a groomer out there and you are looking to get a job or a new job, having that Instagram account where
Exactly.
it is your resume now. So
Yeah.
making sure you're creating content, and I know you have your team creating content on the regular,
Mhm.
as far as like while they're in the shop grooming. And is that something that you require when you hire, or you let people know like, hey, we're expecting you to make content when you're grooming? Or is that something, I mean, you encourage it, but do you kind of bring it up when you're hiring them that that's kind of part of the job?
No, so it's never been a requirement. I feel like it's more of like the culture that we have, and it's more something that they see. So not all my groomers will create content, but for the most part, they always try to create content because they know that kind of this is what we're about. They'll see me, I'll show up to the shop with the cameras and stuff, and just start recording with them. So they kind of know that it's our culture to create something for social media. So even the ones that aren't consistent, at some point they create something,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it gives them also a sense of like, of being part of the team when they create something, and then we collaborate with them, or we're reposting each other because we love to repost our employees. It's just getting them to make something.
Yeah, yeah. Do you ever like
Or
not
I'll
post their content? Like, it's not good enough.
No, I think we'll always post it. Sometimes, I think this happens to everybody. You'll do a dog, it looks great. The owner takes it home. They do, who knows what they did to it. They squished its face, they let it run around in the grass, and then they decide to take a picture of it and then tag us. I'm like, "Ah, that looks like that was done a couple hours. That looks like that was done at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 10 o'clock at night now. You're tagging me after your dog ate, running around in the grass. But even the customers feel that sense of community when they get reposted. So even if it's not the greatest picture, like afterwards, after the
Hmm.
customer takes the dog home or something happened, I'll still repost it because it gives them that sense of the community, of
Yeah.
being part of just us. It gives that the pet owners a sense of being part of us as well. So I
Yeah,
make
they
sure
think
to
it looks
repost everything.
good. So
Yeah, that's all
that's
that matters,
their
right? Yeah,
opinions that
yeah,
matters.
yeah, exactly.
So, new news recently out is that non-competes are no longer a thing.
Mhm.
They got rid of them. So for anybody that hadn't heard that yet, no more non-competes. Did you ever have your groomer sign a non-compete?
No, and I feel like, some people have told me it's like you should have, Priscilla, of course, gets on me too. She's like, we should have him sign something. I've always been very more of a like handshake type of guy. Like, all right, we're
Yeah.
shaking hands. This is the deal that we made. But I also know that we can't limit people, and there's always people that will come and go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that no matter what, you can teach someone to do exactly how you do things, but doesn't mean that they're gonna be able to do it. Or just because they see you do something doesn't mean that they're gonna be able to replicate it to the same point. So if someone were to come in and be like, "Well, I stole your secrets and I'm leaving," good luck, because by the time you get to the point where I am now, I would be even further ahead by the time you even caught up. So it's having the sense of it sucks, and this is one of Priscilla's biggest things because she has taught most of our groomers, and she hates like making that investment into someone
Mm-hmm.
for them to, let's say, just get up and leave. But no, no one can steal what you have, or no one can take what you've created if it's something that's really original to you. So good luck to them.
Amen.
Yeah,
Couldn't agree more.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my other questions was going to be, how do you feel if somebody, you put all that effort into training them, you put the money into, the hours of bringing them onto
Yeah,
your team. Like, what happens if they want to go start their own business? Not so
yeah,
much find another grooming shop to work at, but are they learning from you? Because that's what Priscilla did, right? Like, she was
yeah,
working at a shop and learning what she could because she eventually wanted to open up her own business.
yeah.
And went there kind of knowing that, I want to learn as much as I can. As an employer,
And
how
one
does
of
that feel?
yeah. Well, even one of the things was that she was always very clear to her boss before she even went. From day one, she let her know, look, I might be here for some time, but the goal is for me to open up my own business, and and that's it. I think her situation could have been a little bit different, where the owner was kind of like hands off in the grooming department. So it wasn't like Priscilla was there, let's say, learning everything from the business owner. She was more there getting a little bit more time under her belt.
Yeah.
So she was just there grooming on her own, doing her thing and getting that time under her belt. I will say that I'm very selective of when I interview someone,
Mm-hmm.
of finding out their goals and what they want to do. Because it is, I'll be honest, I'll get interviews where like, people are like, hey, like I want to come work for you. And then like next 6 months, I'm gonna open up my own trailer or do whatever. It's not that I don't want them to succeed, but I'm also not going to teach you from scratch because it's usually people that don't have the experience.
Mm.
It's usually people who are new to grooming. Hey, like I want to learn how to groom so I can open up my own business. But first of all, like if I hire you, I'm technically making that investment to teach you.
Yeah.
So, and you're not going to pay me, I'm going to pay you. So it's not going to work out for me. It's different if I get a groomer who's been grooming for 10 years, he's experienced like, hey, I'm just kind of making my way through right now while I open up my business, but I don't have to make that investment where I'm teaching them or we're teaching them, then it's okay, then it's clear. But it's usually never that way. It's usually someone who kind of wants to come in, take the knowledge, and leave with it. So obviously there's a difference in those.
Yeah. It's important to be honest on both
Yeah,
sides, right? Like if you're
yeah,
looking for an opportunity where you just like, I'm going to open my own shop eventually, be upfront about it. Let them know like,
yeah,
oh, maybe it'll be 3 years. Like you can have a good
yeah,
employee for 3 years and that might
yeah.
be worth it to you, like to put
Exactly.
that investment in, and that's fine. But yeah, just be honest out there and don't
Yeah,
like just use people because that sucks. You got
yeah,
to think, you're a person too.
yeah,
Like don't come in. This is my small business and I'm working hard to train you. Don't just come in and
yeah,
like be ready to leave in a year. That
yeah.
sucks.
I think it's like the training and investment part that hurts. It's not so much that they're leaving, but the effort that you put into them. Now, again, it's different if you're not putting any effort in them and they come in knowing how to do
Mm-hmm.
everything. Cool, then
Yeah.
you're just here to work. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but it's that time that you put into someone.
Yeah. We're all just people.
Yeah.
Just be nice. So you got to a point where you were you grooming with Priscilla at a certain point? Like she taught you how to groom. How did that go?
Yeah, so I think I was always been like behind the scenes where I watched her for like a good 3 years on how to groom dogs, and I'm like a very like like all right, well give me the clipper, let me give it a try. I'm not scared, and then I mess it up, and I'm like all right, here you go, can you finish it please? We have a funny story where one time I was still pretty new in grooming, and I cut a dog, and I just got my dog and I gave it to my other groomer who was brand new too. I just got the dog. I was like, hey, this dog's bleeding. You want to take it? And she was new there too, so she didn't know what to do either. So of course, then we both go over there to Priscilla. Um, and then I think once COVID hit, like, I realized that there was too many like uncertainties of what was going to happen, of if I could, let's say, rely on my groomers, or if people were going to want to work or not want to work. So it's like, all right, well, I'm also very hands-on, so I was like, all right, well, I'm grooming now. And it was the same thing when we opened the second shop. It was kind of around we had started opening up the second shop. We didn't necessarily have employees for it, so we just had to open it
Mm-hmm.
and kind of do it on our own. So I went to the new shop, I started grooming there, and then I just kind of, let's say, it got better over time.
So you were self-taught semi by Priscilla and
Yeah,
got in there when you needed to, and eventually
yeah,
you guys had enough employees where you could
yeah.
step aside. Do either of you groom anymore at all?
Not really a whole lot. Like And that's kind of one of the things that's for me, I need to do something,
Mm-hmm.
and if I can't do anything, then I'm gonna find something to do. So here's where like the expansion comes in. Well, let me build another shop and I'll have,
Mm-hmm.
some time to work and have fun there. And then if it gets to the point where I have too many employees and I have to go back home, then I guess I have to open up another one.
Well, not only that, I mean, you decided to open up another shop and you got mobiles too. So, you're
Yeah.
doing all the things, but you also had enough time on your hands where you could do more content creation.
hmm
And so, at what point in your journey did the CEO Grooms content start happening and you building your personal brand on top of the Posit main brand?
it's one of those other things too, where it's like, being like very hands-on, like, okay, I'm going to show you or lead by example, where we've always been creating content since day one.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes Priscilla would create it. I didn't really create much of it in the beginning, and then we're trying to sometimes get my groomers to record too. It's hard because they're girls, and I just show up with the camera, and they're like, "I didn't get ready today. My hair's not done." I'm like, "For reals?" So there goes my day of recording. So towards the end of like 2022, I was like, you know what, I need to do it by example myself. And all like the business people that I listened to and like say all the people that I looked up to, there was a lot of you need to build your own brand. You need to build your own brand. So in order for me to not be hypocritical, well, I need to build my own brand and do the same thing and do what I'm telling everybody else to do. So then for me, it was more like I also saw the need of maybe a little bit more business, in our grooming industry, whether people like my business sense or not, that's a whole different story. But I think that there was a need for it, and I think it got me to where I am today by doing something different that hadn't been done before.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's got different perspectives on things. There's
Yeah,
business, influencers out there saying complete
yeah,
opposite things. So
yeah,
you really just, you just putting out your thoughts and
yeah,
creating content around it for the dog grooming industry, being, specific with
hmm
it so that it could collaborate with Paws at Maine and,
yeah.
you're like a spinoff almost.
Yeah, and like but whenever we're recording, like there is topics like, okay, these are intentional for me to collaborate with Pause Main, and these are meant for
Hmm.
pet parents, and then these are meant for groomers.
Yeah.
So like we'll try to have a mixture of both.
Yeah, that's great. That's important too, is just making sure your content is speaking to the audience for that
Yes,
platform, right?
exactly. And I never want to forget. Sometimes I feel like at the beginning I started creating a lot of content for myself where I was feeling like I was, leaving Pause Main behind. And the good thing is that my groomers were, let's say, picking up the slack, but I still want to make sure that we have some professionally made content that,
Hmm.
that I do for Pause Main too. So I'll have to make sure, like, all right, at some point of the month of us recording, something has to go towards Pause Main.
Yeah. And speaking of that, you have a videographer. You hired a videographer, and he just comes, I don't know, a few days a week, and you guys plan to get content in different ways and at different times in different places. When did you decide I need to hire a videographer? I can't do this by myself, or I don't want to do this by myself.
Um, Even like from the beginning, like I started making the videos, and it's funny. Like he approached me one time, sent us a DM. Hey, I make videos. Kind of brushed him off a little bit, and then he came and brought his dogs to get groomed. I was like, all right, this guy's making an effort. I was like, all right, come make me a video. He was so newer to what he was doing or doing the stuff on his own. I'm just always someone that will like want to not I'm gonna say not take it to the extreme, but I was seeing how we could take it to the next level. For me, it's
Mm-hmm.
like what can we reinvent to do it better? If I make a cool video and it's going good, how do I do it better? Is that, a professionally made video? Or what do I do to get it to that next level? So for me, it was always if I want to stand out or be on top of my competition, like what am I going to do better than them? And I think when we first started making creating content, at least in our area, no one was making content and no one was making professionally made content. So I wanted to make sure that I have like the leg up and stand out.
Yeah, the look, definitely, that quality
Yeah.
brings a different edge to it. I saw something recently about how that's going to be coming back in content creation, that it's so oversaturated with those influencers that are just making stuff on
Yeah.
their phone, and that organic content, that
Yeah.
high quality, good video and audio is going to survive whatever changes happen in social media. So having that,
Yeah.
professional quality videographer there is definitely worth the investment if it's something that you want to do, like you're taking content creation seriously. And so he found you. I was going to ask you how you found
Yeah.
him, but I guess the story's the other way around. He found you.
Yeah, no, so he found me, and everybody like all ask, well, how do I find someone? And I always
Mm-hmm.
do say, well, find someone who's a little bit newer, maybe find someone who's willing to trade that work. There's a lot of videographers right now, because again, it got a little saturated as well,
Mm-hmm.
with people with the content boom. Whereas like, hey, maybe find someone who's new, and take a chance on them, let them take a chance on you, work together, and then build together. I think the only thing that is that. I would say for people, don't abuse it, and because I know there's people who just go with whoever does things for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's never the one. That's never been me. And at some point, my videographer, raised his price. Hey, it's this much. All right, cool, whatever. Then it's like, hey, let's do something different. Let's do like a monthly package. I was like, whatever. I was like, we've been working together. I was like, you charge me whatever you want to charge me. There were times where he was scared, like, oh, am I gonna lose my client because of charging? One, I said, I'm just not like that, but there is people who take advantage of that too, where they'll just kind of jump on from next to next because
Mm-hmm.
of the price.
Yeah.
So don't be one of those people. Just pay. Just like we
Yeah.
want to get
If
paid
the
for work.
value's there.
Exactly. Just like we want to get paid for our grooming. Like you
Exactly.
have to do the same thing. Like with tipping. You can get that extension cord and plug it in my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like with tipping, I say like
Yeah.
if you're not tipping and you're cheap, how do you expect people to come tip you? That's not how the universe works.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. So you have this videographer, and can you just break down a little bit about your process, your content creation process, how you're finding things? Oh, wait, is he there still? Oh, no, Eddie. He might have to come back. His phone might have died. We'll give him a second. Right? I feel like he couldn't have fallen off on a better moment for still. Because most people will be mid talking and look crazy, and it'll freeze on that. And if you've ever like paused on the TV in a moment and just get the funniest screenshots. Oh no, Eddie. Yeah, exactly. He's got a great smile. Can't hate that. Let's see. I have some more questions for him on this, so I want to make sure he comes back so we can finish this out. Right? It took me a few seconds to realize it. I thought he was just smiling for a second, and it was just awkwardly long. That's just creepy after a few seconds of somebody smiling like that at you. If anybody has any questions for Eddie or even me, feel free to ask away. We're here with all the business and marketing and social media stuff that you have questions about. We're happy to answer along the way. Right? Just in case you freeze and then you don't look crazy. But, if you freeze in the middle of a sentence, then that is what it is. Oh, the tumblers. Listen, we put a post up for the member pool. If you're a member, we're trying to get some more merch, and we're going to be selling it. We had brought some to Atlanta to the show there, and a lot of members got some of the merch there. It was actually a black tumbler with white, because this is the instructor one. But we're looking to see what you guys want the most as far as hoodies and t-shirts go, and the tumblers on there is one of them, and it's the last one right now, so it doesn't look like we're going to be getting tumblers for sale for a little while. It's going to
I
eventually
was
be
like,
up there, but
honestly, this is real life. My phone died.
yeah, that's what we figured.
Hold on. Can you see my?
But
Can you guys see me
when
now?
you
Can you see
I
me?
don't see him yet, not yet. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, hold on a sec.
We should have screenshot how he froze to put it up there. You had the greatest like screenshot of when your phone died. You were just there smiling, so nice. It looked like a profile picture. I was like, that could totally you could
Nice.
screenshot that
Oh,
and that
listen,
be your profile picture.
we did that on purpose. We paused.
Just perfect. Like just let me smile until it dies, and then they won't know for a
Well,
minute.
I saw it go down. I was like, oh shoot. And then the screen died. That's when you saw me grab my charger. I was like, let me grab my charger real quick.
Yeah, yeah. No, all good. We held out and waited for you and knew you'd be back. You're
Cool.
working on it.
Yeah.
So where were we? Your process. I wanted to know what your process is for content creation. I want to know where you get your ideas from. How do you have certain days of the week that you are planning those shoots with your videographer? Do you have them written out like these are what we're going to be doing for this shoot? This day. And the editing process as well. Like, are you, obviously they're being edited. Are you handling the editing? Is he handling the editing? Let me know it all. I want to know the process of your
Okay.
content creation.
So I think when we first started, we were just setting up shoot dates. All right, let's shoot Monday and Wednesday. And then I would maybe come unprepared. So maybe for like the first 30, 40 minutes, I'm like, all right, what do I want to talk about and come up with topics. And then we would just kind of do them on the go. Um, and then it was he gets busy, so and I get busy, so we're pretty good at just like if he can't shoot, he can't shoot. Or we'll just say, hey, I'll meet you at the shop, 7, 8 p.m. Let's shoot at night, and then we'll shoot for a couple hours, at night. If there's something specific that I need for, let's say, my sponsors or the companies that I work for, then I'll maybe plan something. Now, pretty much during the week, if I get an idea, I put it on my list, my content idea list. And it's either a topic, and sometimes I'll write it out, or sometimes I'll just put the idea there. Um, there's been times where I've tried to script them more, and yes, like they look nice and professional, or it all comes out perfectly because of course there's some editing to it. Um, but now, even now, I'm like, let's just go back to I know a topic that I want to say, and it might take a take or two, but like it has to come out naturally. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like it. I don't like it to be to me like if I'm reading a teleprompter. We tried that once. I wrote it out, but I just didn't like it. I just
Yeah.
didn't like having to fake my emotions or my expressions. Hi, today we're going to be doing this. The videos came out great, but I don't think that was a look that's not the feel that I want. So all my videos are I have a topic and it's whatever comes to my mind, whatever comes to my head, whether it has an error or not. Either we edit it out or we just leave it,
Mm-hmm.
because I just want it to be, organic. And I want whatever I say, whether I say the wrong thing, like I want it to be just what I meant. Like, hey, that's what I meant. And it might not sound the greatest, but that's just how I either spoke it or that's what I mean. And I just like it to be organic. For me, it's like none of my content is like, let's say, I'm not worried about, let's say, whatever is like trending or
Mm-hmm.
whatever is, let's say, like the new fad that's going on. For me, it's just whatever I'm deciding to put out is what I want to put out.
Yeah. So you just have
And
this
he,
running list that something pops in
mhm,
your head and you write it down, and then you have something where he comes and you're like, let's just pull from my list.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And
And there was
then
times where we're doing like 8, 10 videos a day and just record them all and then
mhm.
have them ready. And then I get a Dropbox sometimes the next day when he's quicker, or we just get a Dropbox, full of videos.
Okay. So you get
So
the raw footage from him.
and just me to edit. He'll edit it. He'll just have them all edited for me. So that's kind of the deal we have. He shoots, he edits, and then we're good to go. Sometimes he'll just leave it up to me to insert the captions because you can do that with applications, or I'll choose the music, or even sometimes like like I'm missing something. Like there'll be times where like maybe I'll do one of the pop up pictures or something that pops into it. I'll decide to add things here and there.
Hmm.
But I think for the most part, we got the style that we kind of worked on the style that we're going for together. If I have an idea or I see content that I like, online, I send it to him. Like, look, I like this. Let's do it like this next time.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. So you're
So,
doing some of the editing. He's kind of piecing together the raw footage, and then you put your little creative spin on it with what
mhm.
you said. Obviously, app editing apps. What are you using to add your captions and add these little extra screens that you want to add in usually?
Captions, the app Captions is good for captions. They just easy put in your video and it'll type everything out for you. And then CapCut is an easy one to add pictures or add little emojis to it. So CapCut and Captions is pretty much all I use.
Nice. And you
I
said
can't
you'll
I
add
can't do those
music.
those fancy ones. Yeah, the music just through Instagram. You know.
You're just picking music. Are you looking for
hmm
trending audio when you're doing that, or just something for like background?
Um, no, sometimes it's mainly just for background. I don't do a lot, again, just don't do a lot of the trending audio stuff. Unless I see it and I like it, then yes. It has to be
Mm-hmm.
like an organic thing that I actually like. I've tried looking for like trending audios. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I was talking to someone who also creates content, and for me, it's the grooming videos of actual grooming dogs go more viral. 'Cause even to say grooming is like a niche already, but now
Mm-hmm.
what I do is an even smaller niche where it's hard. My videos are not all going to go viral, but for me, it technically doesn't matter. A million views or a million likes won't necessarily turn into much if it's not your correct audience. Now
Mm-hmm.
you get a million likes from overseas. It doesn't matter because I grew up in Corona, California, so that doesn't relate to me. The same thing, anything outside the grooming world, my content is made specifically for the grooming world. So if it has 100 likes, those are 100 likes, or I know will be from groomers versus 100 random likes. So it's not forgetting that, or so people don't get discouraged. Is this if you know
Mm-hmm.
your audience, don't worry about the numbers, don't worry about the likes, because it's for your audience.
Amen. Quality over quantity all
Yeah,
day. Viral's
exactly.
nice, but like you said, it's not going to equal out to new clients, if that's what
Yeah,
you're trying to do. It depends on what your goal is, right? You like you
yeah,
said,
it
know
depends on
your
the goal.
audience. That's
Yeah,
that's the main objective of if you're putting content out, who are you putting the content out for? And just focus
exactly.
on them and speak to them. Like we have
Yeah.
plenty of people that follow us actually follow us, not just saw the saw a viral video or
hmm
commented some nasty stuff on on a video, like the negativity and all that. They actually follow us. We have pet parents that follow us, and we know that they follow us, but that doesn't change the content we put out. They're
Yeah,
not our audience, like our
exactly.
audience is groomers. And so we're going
Yeah,
to continue to put out content. And just because they enjoy our content doesn't mean we're going to start making content for them.
yeah,
Sometimes we'll make content for the groomers to post, to share, that speaks to pet parents, or maybe, is them speaking to pet parents. So we're basically like
yeah,
creating content for them
yeah,
in a way that they want to talk to pet parents, but we don't, that's not our audience. So that's not who, we're making it for the groomer to share for their audience.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a big thing that you said, just know your audience and you may like you're super niche, like you said. It's funny,
See, the
grooming's niche
smaller,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah, and now you're
yeah,
business, people in the grooming industry. So yeah, that's going to be a really really small niche, but as long as you aren't discouraged by that, like you said, it's
yeah.
important.
And
Um,
I've actually started to have
mm,
other businesses reach out to me. Someone's like, "Hey, can I come to your seminar? One of the coffees with the CEO that I did." I'm like, I was like, there's no point of you coming. Like, I'm sorry, but yes, it's about business, but I'm going to talk about the business related to grooming. But I still don't mind answering their questions. They have questions about marketing, things like that, because business is still business, but the content I make is specifically for the grooming world.
yeah, amen. Um, Sorry, Tone's trying to tell me something, and I can't quite hear him. Oh, he wanted to know about this coffee thing, the coffee with the CEO. What's that about, and how'd that get started?
Um, For me, it's just, I always get people reaching out, asking for help. I think even when I decided to create content, there was some, like, some of the people that I listen to, or the people that I like to, let's say, take advice from. One of them, he said his main goal was just because he just wanted to give back. He was at a point where he just wanted to give back. And that was kind of me. I'm like, okay, whether people like it or not, I'm gonna just share what works for us. So whether someone doesn't like it or not, I mean, the proof is still there. It's working for me, and I don't mind sharing it with other people. Like when people send me a DM, like I'll write them a lengthy message, or I'll try to answer as much as I can. So now the coffee with the CEO is just to be able to network with more people locally. But
Okay.
it's kind of same thing. It's just whoever's in my area, I got time. My sponsors, they'll get us some coffee and some donuts. All right, cool. Let's just come hang
Yeah.
out. And I just like the space that they have there. It's a really cool little space. So shout out to Wags because I like their little showroom they built.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like the companies that I work with, I also like to put in my effort. Uh, a part as being an ambassador is kind of sharing awareness with the people you work with or the people you decided to partner with. So I like bringing people to the companies that, I really do, enjoy working with. So that's kind of how that came about. Let's just kind of
Yeah.
come hang out.
Shout
People
out to
just, people like to
Wags.
hang out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice, right? I think that's why podcasts do so well because it's just
Yeah.
like I think so many people are just not as social as they'd like to be in the world and
Yeah.
just in their lives in general and going out and hanging out and actually having conversations with people. So it's nice to sit in on conversations that you
Hmm.
might love, like to have been there for and feel like you're part of it and just like being there listening to the conversations nice. So yeah, having just being able to hang out and talk is always nice.
And
Like
I
we're
think
doing
even
now.
like the first one we had, like I didn't call it the coffee with CEO. I just did it here. I just had a business meeting. I have a local groomers group who I'm part of, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to come down to my shop? Let's talk about business. Let's just have an open conversation. So it went really
Mm-hmm.
well. I was like, all right, well, let's do it, at a different scale or a different audience, in a different city. So
Yeah, just
it's been
expanded.
fun.
That's cool. So hey,
Yeah,
if you're in California, Southern California, and you want to go have
yeah.
coffee with the CEO, there you go.
We're trying to do once a month.
Hit
I
him
need to
up.
make the flyer so we could do it for
Yeah.
next month.
So I wanted to know. I was going back to your content creation. Do you have a posting schedule? Like, are you just putting them out as you make them? As like just randomly?
I just put them out randomly when I feel
Yeah.
like it. I've tried the whole look up what time works. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes
Yeah.
the most random time works. And
Yeah.
yes, there's people who say
Middle of the
that there's a
night.
science. Yeah, there's people who say there's a science and you should do this and you should do that. But I just do whatever feels right. And there's been sometimes I'm like, you know what? I have something to say, and if I don't say it now, if I don't record it, I'm never going to
Mm-hmm.
do it. So I'll record it and I just put it out. If it has to be 9:30, 10 p.m. at night, it's just if I
Mm-hmm.
really feel like I need to post something, I'll post it. And those are usually the posts like, oh man, I really wanted to hear this, or like this helped me out today. Thank you. I'm like, all right, well, that's who it was for. Whether if it was just for that one person, but just
Yeah.
post it whenever you feel.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think like that goes back to the whole contradictory things of people on social media telling you to do, this is the way you should be
Yeah,
doing it and is not always the case.
yeah,
I don't quite the posting anything, we just get it out when we can and like
yeah,
like you said just in the middle of the night you can post something and if you have an audience that's on the other side of the world, it's not the middle of the night for them. It's,
exactly.
like people are on social media all day long and they're going to see it eventually, or it'll be the first thing in their feed when they wake up in the morning if it's nighttime. I heard, oh, there's a trick. Oh, you start posting at like noon and that should
Yeah,
work for you. But like maybe nobody really knows. Everyone's
no
just
one knows.
doing what they,
Even the
what they can figure
even the
out. And
people even the people who say no is because they're going to sell you a course on how to do it, and they don't know.
yeah, right. I'll
So
teach you
I,
all the
I
tricks on how to go viral.
yeah, I'm going to say the only day that sucks is Friday. I feel like Friday always sucks.
Yeah,
Whether
well,
it's,
you gotta,
if I don't,
if you're
because people are
in
going
your
out.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah, what are you
yeah,
doing? Like you got to think,
exactly,
when are you on social media and when is those times
exactly.
that you would be on? If you're on now, post because
Yeah,
you're a person and you're on social media, you might as well just post it.
exactly.
Speaking of just like posting when you can, do you have like you said you get a whole drive of videos at a time, how much content do you have stacked up right now at any given moment, like ready to go? Do you have like a month's worth? How often are you posting typically? Like, obviously you're not planning it, but as just like a cadence, are you posting like 3, 4, 5 times a week? And then how many posts do you have stacked up? So like if you got sick or something and you
Yeah.
couldn't do anything for a while, like how long are you good for?
I would usually at least have enough content to post something every day for at least like a week or so if I really didn't record. Because actually this actually
Mm-hmm.
happened in April. So this month I just got so busy, like we have a deadline, we had to open up the shop. Like I had to actually go and finish and like see through all little things, and stuff like this gives me a good amount of content. So the coffee with the CEO in April, I had enough, footage from there, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to do a little bit of longer format videos to just pull stuff from out from there. So there'll be times where I'm like, "Oh, I got too much content. I need to put it all out," because if it's time sensitive to a certain event, then I kind of need to get rid of it. Like if I just had a
Yeah.
seminar, I can't hold on to that footage forever because it's no longer going to be relevant towards, the moment in time. Well, there'll
Mm-hmm.
be times where I'll have to post, 2 times a day for a couple of days to kind of get that content out. And then I have content that I'll try to save as I go. I'm like, okay, like I'll just save this here and there. But I'll usually have like at least a
Yeah.
good week's worth of content ready to go. And
That's a good point.
if I really run out, then I'll just pick up my phone and I'll make a video of whatever I need to make a video. So
Just on the go. But
yeah,
yeah, I like that, having evergreen content that you can just kind of post at any point in time and having that
mm,
as like your stash of content.
yeah,
And then having that more, you have to prioritize other videos as they come. And then, you put those out,
yeah,
and then you have this other evergreen content that you put out in between those things that aren't priority time sensitive
yeah.
material. So it's a great point. You also mentioned that you ran ads for Paws at Maine.
Mhm.
Are you still doing that? And have you ever ran ads for your personal brand?
Yeah. So, so I still run ads for Pause Main. I started to run some, this last week. So I'll go through the footage and make sure it's usually grooming footage. And when you run an ad, you just have to make sure it has a call to action that says we have open availability or we're taking on new class customers. I always like to put on taking on new customers because one of the biggest things that customers hear is, oh, I called for an appointment and the groomer says I don't take new customers. So imagine if I run an ad in my city and it says now taking on new customers. I'm gonna get those people. Um, so there always has to be a good call to action, but I also run ads here and there. I always try to run something to always have a continuous like flow. Like I think I got to there was one point where I'm like, okay, we're getting a lot of new customers. Make sure to not forget about the old customers. So I had to find a way to balance it out. But there's never a week that we don't have someone new, and not just someone, like a few new people here and there. And then we have our
Mhm.
regulars. So there's always a constant flow of new people finding us, or at least trying us out, or I always tell people I don't really keep anybody on a schedule, so I want to make sure that I have an overflow of clientele. That's not necessarily an issue. Like I'm always pushing for new customers.
Do you ever
Um,
find that
so
you don't have the space for people anymore? Or you just hire someone new when
uh,
that happens?
well, I would hire someone new when it happens. Like, all right, well, it's time to hire someone. No, I've never not found the space. Like, I mean, if a customer wants to come, we're gonna find them an appointment. If I have to open up the schedule on Sunday, you'll see me working on Sunday. You'll see me because we're closed Sundays and Mondays. If we really
Mm.
have to, we'll figure out a way. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. To me, it's just kind of figuring out a way to not to the point where like let's say you're killing yourself to service someone. It's never like that. It's still always on our terms. So
Yeah.
yes, you want an appointment, but it's gonna be on my terms. So we'll always figure out a way. But yeah, I'll continue to run ads and I'll always run ads. I always tell everybody you're the all the reference pictures that we get are from dogs on Instagram. So where are the customers that you want? They're on Instagram looking at dogs. So they're over there looking at the cute pictures. Well, you just popped up on their feed offering that cute haircut, and that's where we've had our best luck with.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, Now, as far as for my personal brand, in the beginning, I was, and it was more of something because it's like, how fast do I want to do this? Do I want to wait to just let it organically, magically happen, you can, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also for me, it's the most speed. It's like there is a destination I want to get to, so how am I going to get there quicker? And if that was running ads, I ran ads, and they did help. But again, you can't just run an ad and something's going to happen. Your ad has to be good. Your content still has to be good.
Yeah.
So whatever viral video I had and I saw it performing well, I'd boost it here and there to just make sure I'd reach more groomers. Because at the end of the day, my goal is to reach groomers. So I'm not gonna wait. I might as well just kind of speed up the process.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So, I have a question for you, and I want
Uh-huh.
to get into the brands because we brought up Wags,
Yeah.
and they're awesome. We love Wags too, and you have other affiliations with other companies. I don't know,
Biogroom. Yeah.
Biogroom.
Biogroom.
So
Yeah.
you make
Yeah.
content for them.
Yeah.
Cuddle Still. I don't know.
No,
No more Cuddle Still.
so no, but Cuddles is my friend. Like Targ is my friend, so that's one of the brands that I don't necessarily work with them. But if Cuddles called me and said, "Hey, let's have a meeting," I would always I'm
Oh
always
no.
open to having with it. Yeah.
So Biogroom, you were making content for. I
Hmm.
saw something. I don't know if you is that it right now? You with
Yeah,
Biogroom,
just
and
just buy a group at Wags.
can you tell me what they ask for from you? Like, are you getting? Do you have a deal with them where you're getting a paid, or are you getting products? Because I know you like actually use. You know, you're one of the
Yeah,
people that you're going to promote something you use. You're not going to promote
yeah.
something that you don't believe in. And so I know you use it, and you've put content out there for them. Do you have like a contract, or how does that work as far as brand deals go for what you have set up with them right now? If you can
I've
talk
always
about it, obviously.
yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you can.
I,
Divulge.
if they know they work for me, if they know they're working with me, they already know how I am.
Yeah.
Um, no, I honestly, I'm going to say that I've always waited to actually get a paycheck from someone before
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Hey, let's do something, um, for you."
Yeah.
I did have, a company like maybe approach me when I was maybe first coming up, and of course they're like, "Hey, well, I mean, you don't have that many followers just yet, sign a deal for a year of exclusivity." I'm like, no, thanks. So I did pass up,
Wow.
some stuff. I'm like, do you want to give me a paycheck or not? Like, oh no, we can't do that. I'm like, okay, well then I can't make content for you. Um, I'm in a position where I spend a lot of money for my content and I know what
Yeah.
I could provide. I know what I could provide a company. So it's easier for me to bargain. I was like, you guys see me going around with the camera person, you guys see the content I make. This is what I can offer you. Not just, I also know my audience. My audience is only groomers. So I know I could do well with whatever message you guys want me to promote or I want to promote with you, but because I know my audience and I know what I could do. So I know what I know what I bring to the table, and I will hold out till someone signs that check. Versus maybe just jumping on any deal that's going to give you an affiliate code. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's when you kind of have to know yourself also. Well, can I push an affiliate code? Will people buy from me? And that's where you have to, again, the views. Whose views are those coming from? So, like one of my groomers, um, she has a lot of views, but for me, I feel that most of her views are more pet parents. So anytime that she does something, like I would direct her in the direction of reaching pet parents, versus groomers all the time because I see the potential for pet parents versus the groomers. And that's kind of where you would decide what kind of deal you want to do with people.
Yeah. Knowing your audience and that they actually
Yeah.
align with your audience. Like, yeah, we have companies hitting us up all the time trying to have us promote their products, and it has nothing to do with it's definitely a pet parent kind of thing, and it's like it's
Yeah.
not our audience. I'm not,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not interested in that. If it's something that we can have groomers test and know that it works good and we can get behind it, then yeah, sure. But yeah, for sure, knowing your audience for taking on that kind of deal. Did they tell you what kind of content to make, or is that something that you can decide, or you just like have freedom with that, or do they require certain types of content from you?
So I feel like it's still a very like gray. Not it's still a new area of being an ambassador, or let's say being a paid ambassador for grooming companies. Because again,
Hmm.
we're still in a niche group, or category where there's smaller companies in this, and then there's bigger companies in this. So the companies that I work for, again, it was more of there was interest in working with me, and I kind of set the rules of like, hey, like this is what I could do for you, and we came into agreement of, for me, I mean, I'm creating content for them,
Hmm.
which creating content means reaching the audience. So with the content I do, I'm reaching groomers to promote, the companies and their brands. So it was always more of a, and that's why I like the companies that I work with now, because I feel like we have a very good understanding, and we were able to kind of compromise of what we both wanted from each other, because it was new for us all. So it's me. I think for the most part, you're usually creating content for companies. If everything revolves around sales, for companies, as a groomer, how confident can you be to bring those sales to someone? So I always get the messages, how do I become an ambassador? It's like, all right, well, what do you want out of it, and what can you do for the company? It has to be a win-win. You can't just get free products just because.
Yeah, you can spend time trying to make a video and then it flops too. And then
Yeah,
and then it's,
exactly.
like one time, oh, I made this awesome video, I spent all this time on it and then it did horrible. It's like, oh, that's not good. But I'm just always curious cuz there's so many different situations with companies and how they run their specific
Yeah,
affiliate program or ambassador program or influencer program, whatever they
yeah,
want to call it, and call you as part of their partnership. If like how structured they are as far as like with, oh, we want an unboxing video, we're going to send you products, we require an unboxing video, and then we want to see you using it, and like, are they giving you this list of like, or we need, maybe they can be very specific like that, or at least give you a number like, oh, we're going to send you this, we want X amount of videos per month from you. They can be whatever they want, they are, or they just like do whatever you want, we'll just send you product when you want. Like, it's super flexible. There's so many different ways that they
yeah.
could go about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely have some goals that we try to reach. I mean, sometimes it's hard to obviously make the same video, over and over again, or then it also belongs on the person. How creative are you? So any video that I make are ideas that I have myself. Whether it seems like it was specifically geared towards the company, those were still concepts that I came up with. And any video that I make, I try to think of it as a business sense. Okay, so if today I'm shooting specifically for BioGroom, which is a shampoo company, what is the goal of the video? Are we explaining how these shampoos work? Are we explaining the benefits? Are we explaining how they are better than another shampoo, or how we use them? So I'm not going to make a video dancing in front of BioGroom products or shampoos just because I have to make a video.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of where you have to be smart, and this is where, if your content is humor and things like that, then that's where you have to, like, all right, can you live outside that box of just creating content and viral videos? It's also about sending the message for your companies. But these are all stuff that I do on my own. Obviously, maybe I'm good at it
Yeah.
because I also own a business, so I kind of know what they want. So it's just going to be something. I would say I think it would be a struggle for some groomers to say, hey, put me on payroll, but what can you do? And usually when we're in this position, I'm gonna say you want to have someone. I'm in a position where, like, I'm gonna say I'm not necessarily babysitting. If it's my job to do something, it's my job and my responsibility to do what I'm gonna say I'm gonna do. Not necessarily just, hey, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I love hearing about the different scenarios,
Yeah.
and everybody's different. And I think that even companies are having to approach individuals in different ways based on, like you said, they know me. They, like you
Yeah.
have to set your standards. And, even if a company comes at you with like a certain structure of what they're looking for in a deal, you can always say, okay, well, here's what I would do, and set
Yeah.
forth your own criteria for how you would like that relationship to be ran so that everybody's happy. Like you said, it's got to be a good for both parties in the end, as far
Exactly.
as those kind of relationships go, and making sure that everybody's happy and they're getting what they want, you're getting what you want out of it, and everything's copacetic. So I want
And the
to
people really have to like realize what they want out of it too, because I think they just want to jump
yeah,
into something. But what do you want from it? So it has to be clear on your end.
yeah, know what you want and make sure you get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's close out with I want to know, what is one piece of advice that you would give somebody that is looking to open up their own shop from scratch?
From scratch. Um, if I think the only advice that I could really say, or the most important thing, was to just not be scared. If it's something that you really want to do, there is no magic blueprint because something might go wrong. It's just you have to not be scared and kind of like take that risk and do whatever it takes to accomplish it. Whether you just open up a shop and you have one tub, one table, to me, if I really had to and I didn't have all the resources that maybe I have now, I would still open something small. I would still just have a desk and grow. I've seen pictures of when our first shop opened and it was all empty. I think there was like two tables. There was a little, uh, counter space. We had maybe a couple little kennels and it was small. And then towards the end, it got full of equipment, full of things, redid things. It's just really making that leap. If it's something that you really
Yeah.
want, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be super hard and you're going to get frustrated, but it's who can push past that frustration and just knowing that you're that type of person, because you're going to want to quit over and over and over again. It's hard.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not about, when you have to just keep going.
Yeah,
The people that don't make it are the ones that quit.
exactly.
I love it. All right.
And
Well,
that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you feel like quitting every day.
I feel you on that. Yeah. And then we just keep going.
Exactly.
Just keep going. We're like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, unless we got these energy drinks.
That helps, I'm sure. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for spending some time with me and chatting about all the things. And if they want to get in touch with you for a CEO Grooms coffee, it's at the CEO Grooms with a Z on
Yes.
Instagram. And so we'll be tagging you in some of the content. Like you said, that long form content, we're going to pull a little clip out of this somehow,
Yeah.
some way, and post it back out there for
Yeah.
just some little short form content for you. So you'll see him again. And thank you again.
Yeah. Thank you for having
Oh,
me on.
and happy early birthday.
Yeah.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. I know we're gonna do this tomorrow, but I was like, oh, what if someone takes me
Yeah.
out to eat, or Priscilla wants to go eat? I was like, it might not work. And I would still come here instead of eating. I was like,
Yeah,
hey, babe,
the
I gotta
workaholic
go
in you
eat.
will work on your
Yeah.
birthday. No problem. I said, nope, we're not
Yeah.
doing that. We'll do it on Sunday. It's not a problem. There's no reason you have to work
Cool.
on your birthday. So I hope you
Thank you.
have a good birthday and enjoy your dinner if you end up going out. And we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you.